conference will now be recorded.
There we go. We are a mobile bunch this morning. Kevin and Velvet are mobilized, and I suspect Star is as well. She's almost always in her vehicular when she joins us, so I appreciate y'all making the extra effort. How are you guys doing? Tell me what's going on in your world this week. All right, Kevin, you're first.
Um, I'm helping a buyer client purchase a home in San Antone, and they it'd be buying a new construction home out in the San Antonio market, and yeah, looking forward to that. That's what I'm doing tomorrow, Saturday. Good friends from church and stuff, and I've dealt with this builder and whatnot before, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. So yeah, I had to learn a little bit about the San Antonio market. Obviously, our keys work over there. It's on the tables on our HAR MLS,
Yes.
and lined up a home inspector out that way. And now I would ask you any thoughts or wisdom for doing something such as this. Yeah.
Well, I would just say choose your lunch spot carefully because there are some delightful restaurants in San Antonio, and you don't want to waste the opportunity.
Excellent. Yes, I know San Antonio. So yep.
Yeah, there's some good ones, some good old cafes too. Not just all Tex-Mex. There's good chicken fried steak. Tip Top Cafe comes to mind. That's
Yep.
the one that if I've got the name right. It's been a few years for me, but
You can
Oh,
never go wrong with chicken.
that's right.
yeah. Shit. So now I have a question. I have another listing that's come live. It's off of Willis, Texas. It's a nice rustic home, 4 bedroom, 3,500 square feet, and it sits on 7.7 acres
I've
of
seen it. Yeah.
Montgomery County goodness. And then, so my question there on that one, I have it listed under homes. You choose what category you're going to list it under. That seemed like the one because it's not a ton of acreage. It's definitely not farm and ranch country, although you can have livestock and it's totally unrestricted. My question to you in the group are what Facebook groups or other places, where would you advise me to go and market this and promote this? Is there a Homesteaders United group or,
Yeah.
that you get what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. No, that's a great question. Anybody have any input on that? Where would you find buyers for a 7 acre property in Montgomery County?
No mud, unrestricted livestock. It's a simple house, water well, big 60 by 20 shed, great for people that had trailers of their own business or their tractors or what they're paying storage, that kind of
Ask
thing.
GPT.
Say it again.
Ask GPT.
Oh, are you
Oh,
saying
there
Chat
you
GPT?
go. Yes, it's 9:05 and it's I hadn't even got to 10 o'clock and people telling me to use AI again. Thank you very much. I'm joking, but welcome to my world.
Well, there you go.
Kevin,
So, what's the price on that, Kevin?
Four and a quarter. It's not expensive.
Wow.
It's almost worth that just for the acreage, and then you get
Yes.
all the buildings and everything that are there. Um, yep.
Okay. Velvet?
I don't know how close it is to the National Forest, but the National Forest has like hundreds of miles of horse trails. So
Yep.
you may
It's
put it on those National Forest sites, or maybe one that's special for horses. We had a client one time moving from down in Houston because she liked to trailer her horses and go ride in the forest, and she was
yeah.
looking for that kind of
I'm
acreage.
gonna try and get Kevin Harbison out there. It's adjacent to the National Forest, and it's 10 miles east of Willis. So you just go out County Line Road, and so it's there's Willis addresses that are on Lake Conroe. This is the other direction towards the east, and it is butts up right up to the forest. So thank you, horse people. Is a good one, and I think
There's
Kevin.
also an option on MLS where you can check horses allowed.
Oh, thank you for that. I will investigate that. I know we were talking that the check boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, and you might even make sure that you mention the word horses in your description,
Right.
because
I
people will
shall.
do keyword searches.
Yeah. Now I did notice one thing. I put it on HAR. I describe it the way I do, and then Zillow pulls it from HAR, and and Zillow added its own special features, and it put in things there that we never said. And the seller came back to me looking at the Zillow representation and said, "Oh, can you remove that?" I'm like, "Well, not really. I never said it in the first place, and I
Yeah.
don't know how to tell Zillow or Zillow's AI what to do." So, has anybody experienced that one?
So
Velvet?
I just, for further foremost, they need to know that Zillow is just a syndicate of the MLS and the other MLS services, but HAR is the most common known
Right.
for buyers sellers.
Yeah. But anyway, that's it for me. That's my update. Thank you now.
Kevin, I've had sellers do the same thing. They go to Zillow, and they're seeing the information on Zillow. You can create a free profile on Zillow, and I think it allows you to edit those things because you can assign your listings to yourself. I had a weird glitch with my email, so I haven't quite figured it out, but I think if you're, yeah, I think you can go claim your profile on Zillow, and then you're able to edit,
Yeah.
do some editing on those listings.
Because Zillow came out and said it has a goat pin. Well, goats are allowed, but there isn't a goat pin, so I don't want to misrepresent. Um, but anyway, very good. Good
All right.
insight.
Zillow's
Also,
using,
Facebook ads and property boosts on KV Core is going to push it to the algorithm that wants to see it.
oh, good advice.
Thank you, Star.
Good advice. All right. Thank you, Kevin, for those quick updates. Velvet, Belinda, Star, anything going on in your world we want to talk about?
Yes, I'm so excited. I watched the Franklin Factor podcast last night with Alex on there and Sarah. And my aha was doing an open house everyday challenge to get back to humanity and want to know that pool of buyers that are still out there. And I do
Yeah.
open houses. I'm a big fan of open houses, and that's how she built her business up. So she's just going back to her roots. And she did
Oh,
40 million in 2025.
Can you share about the podcast? Where did you find it, or what is it going to be regular? Maybe pop the link back to Frank, and he can distribute it on his next email.
Yes, of course, totally. It's on the Andrew Franklin Instagram page, and then it's on Sarah's page. And then there is a link tree, a YouTube, and also it's only 4 episodes right now. So the last one was with Alex just recently here. And she's
okay.
a journalist. She's a journalist. She started out as a journalist, and her story is awesome because it just made sense for her to do open houses versus trying to sneak in behind schools and doors past the front office to speak to teachers when you have the people just coming to you. It's
Yes.
brilliant.
Okay. That's great, Star. And by the way, you were probably all invited earlier this week to a seminar that was being promoted by Kevin and Fred. It was by this team of brothers who were talking about their yard sign strategy. Did anybody sit in on that? So I was very interested in it, but I was unavailable when it was on. So I asked Bob Ochterbeck to watch it for me. And then I was able to download some of the resources. But basically, they're saying that they are generating about 50 leads per listing off of these yard signs. So I downloaded the images of their yard signs, and basically here's what it was. And Kevin, I'm gonna. Oh, I can't turn off your camera, but we're getting a real up close look at your ear canal. There we go. Uh, I was about to give you a diagnosis.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So basically what they're doing is that they're using the steel 24 by 36 sign panels, and they're rewrapping it every time they get a new listing. And so the center of the sign panel has information on the home, 4 bedroom, 2 bath, big yard, outdoor kitchen, just a few features in the middle, but that's what's most prominent. And then it says, for more information, and they give an 800 number and a text code. And I didn't see a QR code, but I'd probably put one of those on there too. So the point is they're giving information about the home on the sign and then making it super easy to reach out and contact them. They're not even putting their name on these signs, which I think is a mistake. They're EXP, so they put the brokerage name at the bottom, but they're generating 30, 40, 50 leads per listing with these signs. So I'm going to try it next time. I mean, when I say next time, when I order new signs, and I'll be probably ordering new signs within the next few weeks. And actually, I don't have to, because if I follow their strategy, I take my existing signs and just have them rewrapped each time. And you're going to spend about $50 to do that. Again, not bad for a new listing, but I'm going to try it. And if it works, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Can I opine on something? And I want to sound
Yes.
like a party pooper, but the Texas Ledge passed a new law effective September 1 that outlaws bandit signs in any public right of way. And it creates a very steep schedule of fines: first offense, second offense, third offense. If I understand it right, um, open house signs would fall into that category as well. Um, but the municipality would have to take the action of fining you. So
Yeah.
I don't know they're going to do that for Kevin the Realtor on an occasional open house, where they might do it for the I sell ugly houses guys that are out there all the time, that are all over. But that's a guess on my part. Have you heard any wisdom or whatnot on the new Texas law regarding these bandit signs?
I haven't. I've heard lots of concern, and I've heard some fear. And my response, I'm pretty consistent with this stuff, is I'm not going to let the fear of something that could possibly happen in another universe keep me from making a living. Now, if they start,
That's why we like Frank. That's why we like you, buddy.
well, I'm not. I mean, somebody somewhere may get fined over an open house directional sign, but I'm not going to keep that from letting me support my family and fund my retirement dreams. Just not going to let it happen.
And a house sale beats $500. Yeah, I got you.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, if it becomes a thing, and you're seeing realtors with mug shots and and all that kind of stuff, then it's real. But until then, it's
as long as they take my mugshot with my fedora, then
yeah.
otherwise you wouldn't recognize me.
Realtor in the fedora in the mugshot. There we go. All right. Just a couple more minutes. Anybody else have anything going on in their business of note? Great new listing or a nasty client that you want to get some input on? Anything of note in your business this week? All quiet?
Frank,
Yeah, Velvet.
I don't have either of those, but I did have a fun thing happen. I've had been attracting an agent, and she's here in Montgomery, but is going to move to Austin, and had decided she wanted to make the move to EXP, and so we were able to find a great agent with EXP, a team lead that is going to bring her on the team, but she was motivated to do so because of the co-sponsorship.
Great.
Yeah, so in a time when a lot of people aren't adding members to their teams because there's not a lot of, the business has gone down a little bit.
Right.
She was motivated, and this is a great agent, so it made sense that way too. But that was like, okay, this co-sponsorship has yeah, it's working.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's great. So have you sponsored her already? Is she in?
She is she has not switched yet, but she is probably today or over the weekend going
Okay.
to
Well,
sign up.
congratulations, Velvet. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's a huge win. Good for you. Um, Somebody mentioned earlier that they were going to show new construction. Oh, Kevin's showing, or who? Somebody shared that.
Yeah,
And
Kevin.
yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on that and say I'm going to be showing new construction in the Woodlands Hills tomorrow, and I have never showed there before. But I have a client who's already been out there, already picked out her house, already picked out her lot, and I met her while walking the dog, and we struck up a conversation, and I weaved into the fact that I was a realtor, and she said, "Oh, I need a realtor. I'm wanting to buy a house and sell my house." Anyways, we have reconnected over that, and I made her a deal, and I'm sharing this with you because this is real life. She told me she hates paying realtor fees, and she had somebody who was going to do a discount for her, and I gave her the deal of the century, which I'll do every day of the week. I said, let's get me written in on this deal in the Woodlands Hills. It's a $17,000 commission. Said, get me on that contract and I will sell your house for free. And I've been scandalized before for that position, but I'm telling you, there's nothing but a smile on my face when I take that big honking check to deposit it in the bank. So I share that to encourage you. I'm not going to have to do any work on the buy side. It's already been done. She picked out the floor plan, the lot, the builder, everything. I'm just going to work on one side and get paid on the other. And just keep that in your pocket. If you can get paid on both sides, more power to you. That's awesome. But don't be afraid to give up one to get the other. Okay.
Hey, Frank, on that, along the same lines, though, you got to be careful on that they're actually going to go through with that purchase,
Yes.
that they're qualified. I had that happen years ago that I did the same thing. I helped them on the sale of theirs to get the commission on the buy side, and that side fell apart. So it's just a kind of a caveat there.
Yeah. So in this case, our new home construction is going to be contingent upon the sale of her existing home. So those two will be linked together. But that, yes, that I've been caught in that same situation. That's why I always say, if you're going to give up one, get paid on the first one, even if it's a lower one. Get paid on the 400, give up the 500, but get paid on the first one, because the second one, a little iffy. Okay, Velvet.
So this happened this week, not to me, but to a friend, an agent friend of mine in Dallas. It kind of goes with us a little bit. Their buyer did not get funding 2 days before closing. The underwriter said there is no clear to close. The seller had already packed up all their stuff, sold valuables in the home,
Yeah.
was in his moving van all the way to North Carolina. The buyer, of course, devastated. And I thought, man, that's a situation that we should get ahead of. I should have a tool in my tool belt for this scenario, and I don't. They ended up doing a seller finance. Well, what happened was the girl had a foreclosure on her record from 2021 or 2020. Wells Fargo didn't file it until 2023, so she hadn't waited technically the amount of time she needed. So they're doing it seller financing for the 18 months she has to wait for her financing to go through, and he's going to make out with $99,000 more from that interest.
And you put this deal together?
I did. It was my friend up in Dallas, because she was just sick that the seller had a feeling that this was not solid financing, and he was right, and she was just sick that she didn't listen to him and asked for a lease back. But it ended up working out, and he's happy. It's a 10% interest.
Wow.
Seller financing loan, yeah.
Okay, so there's another creative solution. When you bang up against that wall, there may be a way. I'm sure at Velvet, she was inspired by your example to come up with that solution. So, hey, Bob, I talked right before you got on about the seminar that you attended this week on the yard signs. And I was able to download the image, and I shared what's on the image and how they're doing lead capture. Were there any other nuggets that you picked up from that you'd want to share with us?
Actually, no, I don't, Frank. I had just an awful lot going on right at that time. I couldn't really delve into it.
Oh, okay.
To the
Okay.
degree I want to. I copied every slide that they had and got
Yes.
a replay, but I do plan to go into it in more depth, but I didn't really have time to digest it all.
Yeah. Well, if you know what, I was able to download just the image of the sign. If you have other slides or images you could share with me, I'd appreciate it, because I am going to try it. I'm going to rewrap a couple of my signs when I get new listings and then go from there. So
I think they also sent me all 3 of the seminars. You know, that was just
great.
second of 3. If I had that, I'll send that link to you too. And if you want to disseminate it, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Well, let me share a couple of things with you. One, we typically wrap right at 9:45. We're going to have to do that again today. I'm just warning you in advance because I have a photography appointment and I'm the photographer, so I've got to scoot out of here right at 9:45. And I don't see Matt on the call today. If he shows up, I'll just leave the live stream going, and you all can carry on in my absence. But I wanted to talk for the bulk of our time today about how to achieve breakthrough success in your business. And because the business that I know best is my own, I'm going to be sharing from my own practice and experience. But I know that the mastermind that we have assembled creates a much broader knowledge base. So I want this to be interactive. And as I share what I know, I'd love to have you guys jump in and share your experience as well. The good news and the bad news that I want to share with you is that I'm going to be singing the same song that you have heard me singing for as long as you have known me. And the reason for that is it doggone works. It has been proven over and over. I've proven it in my own business, starting and restarting again. And in the agents that I coach, those who take action on these strategies will absolutely see results. And again, I'm going to use myself just as the example. As I mentioned in the email this morning, I restarted my business in mid-January of 2024 with simply the goal of making $100,000 in my first year. That was the title of my book, 1 year, 6 figures. So I implemented those strategies and earned $110,000 in reportable commission income. That's it. That's 6 figures, first year. Second year, what have I always said? Whatever you do your first year, you can do what your second year? You can double it. That's exactly right. Whatever you do your first year, you can double your second year. And so my goal for this year was a little bit more than double. I wanted to actually achieve icon status. And that's kind of a squishy target. You can get there by number of transactions or by massive sale volume on just a few transactions. There's different ways to qualify. But I knew that somewhere in the mid 200s, I should qualify for icon. And so that was my stated goal for this year. I announced that to all of you in this coaching call back in January. My EXP year begins December 1st. Okay, so I've got just like 9 days left to do it. And I have a closing scheduled for Tuesday, believe it or not, that is going to put me over the edge into icon status. So yeah, that's going to be like with 5 days to go and 4 of those being holidays. So literally with one business day left, I'm going to qualify for icon status. And I say that to glorify the Lord, because you couldn't have pulled that off. I mean, that's God showing off. But anyways, there's some specific things that I have done consistently that have led to those results. It's not accidental. And the other point I want to make is much of what I've done this year is exactly what I did last year. It's the same, but the results are different. 110 last year. I haven't actually calculated the numbers yet. It's going to be pretty doggone close to 300 this year. The difference is this is year 2. There is momentum in this business. You do the same thing year after year after year that works. You use stuff that works, do proven strategies, implement them consistently. Your results are not going to be the same. Your results are going to grow. And again, that's the living proof that I am. I'm doing the same thing I was last year, but getting much bigger results. And I expect the same thing next year. Not that I want, not that I want 500,000 or 600,000. I don't. I would be very. In fact, I may scale down my goal for 2026. I have other.
You can refer those, Frank.
Yes, that's exactly right. In fact, I know I'm talking out of two sides of my mouth when I say that I want to do this new yard sign strategy and generate 30, 40, 50 leads per listing. What in the world am I going to do with those leads? I'm going to refer them, right? Brace yourselves. Because I personally, I don't have any capacity to work them, but I'm just addicted to this business. I love this business, and to me, it's fun. It's fun to try new stuff and get the results. And I have a sense that this yard sign strategy is going to be highly effective. You heard Star's enthusiasm when we led off today about this open house challenge. Well, she has a right to be enthusiastic because that's going to work. I know it's going to work. And I have the same sense about this because it's a lead capture. You're giving information about the home and then offering more. Anyways, my point is we can implement some new things, but even if we just do the same thing, we're going to get better results if we do it consistently. So I'm going to share 4 or 5 points with you that I would encourage you. Write this down, make notes on this. I just scribbled them on a pad of paper this morning from what I'm actually doing. Number 1, start with a plan. Don't just go into 2026 randomly thinking, well, I'm just going to be a good agent and I'm going to help everybody I can, and then I'll just let the results land wherever they meet. Start with a goal. And that's what I've shared with you. 2024, 100 grand. 2025, icon status. So have a very clear, measurable goal. And that goal should be sufficient to meet all of your financial needs and begin funding significantly your long-term aspirations. And those can be to, purchase your 30-acre enclave out in the wilds of East Montgomery County, take your whole family on a Greek Isle cruise, fund a retirement to be very comfortable, build an orphanage in Ethiopia. Whatever your aspirations are, you may not be able to fund all of them in 1 year, but you want to meet all your needs and then make a significant contribution towards your long-term aspirations. Okay. So that number that you write down should be uncomfortable. It should be a stretch number. And I would encourage you, this is true. You can add $100,000 to your business in any given year if you want to. I stress that because not everybody wants to. I don't want to next year, but you can if you want to, and that may involve getting help, getting a transaction coordinator, getting a virtual assistant, hiring a team member. But you can scale up every year. So get your number that you are committed to achieving. It's not optional. We call this number your financial requirement. What is your financial requirement for your business? And it should make you a bit uncomfortable when you see it on paper. For most of us, it should be more money than we have ever earned in a 12-month period before, right? Because if it's possible to make a little money and possible to make a lot of money, I would prefer a lot of money. It gives you options. It allows you to do things and to bless other people and contribute to important causes. So I like the lot of money better than the little money. And if both are possible, let's go for the lot. Okay. So start with a plan. That plan begins with your financial requirement. Secondly, run the metrics of your business. You know, what is your average sale price? What's your average commission rate? What is your average commission? And then from that, determine how many homes you need to sell next year to meet your financial requirement. You know, if your average sale is $500,000 and your average commission, just for example, let's say 2%, that's a $10,000 commission. Your goal is to make $150,000, then you need to sell 15 homes. It's that simple. Just do the math on that. That number of homes that you need to sell is called your transaction benchmark. And that's the number that needs to be top of mind. If that number is 15 or 22 or 36, and you've heard me say for years, if you're going to get a tattoo, that's a good one. Make it a temporary tattoo or put a big X next year and you can change it out, put a different number down there. Okay. But that, whatever that number is, it needs to be top of mind. I encourage you, put it on your rear view mirror, put it on your bathroom mirror, write it everywhere so that consciously and subconsciously you'll be driven towards the achievement of that number. Okay. So have a plan, identify your financial requirement, calculate your metrics, ending in your transaction benchmark. How many homes do you need to close in 2026 to meet your financial requirement? Okay. All of that is the preliminaries in your plan. The heart of your 2026 plan is identifying the sources of business and the strategies that you're going to use within each of those sources. So where are those transactions going to come from? If your number is 20, and you told me that I need to close 20 next year to meet my financial requirement, my very next question to you would be, where are those 20 coming from? Are they going to come from open house? Are they going to come from online leads? Are they going to come from sphere marketing? Are they going to come from geo farming? Are they going to come from networking? Are they going to come from realtor referrals? Are they going to come from past clients and customers? Are you going to develop a new source of business with investors or 55 plus? What is the source of business? Where are they going to come from? And of course, in my world, we always talk about the 4 core sources from which 98% of all real estate business comes from. We call it the goose: geo farm, open house, online leads, and sphere of influence. Now, you can have a specialty source outside that. If you have some special connection to a source of business or a special passion, you know, perhaps working with assisted living centers. Think about that. I'm telling you, that's an untapped gold mine. If I was 35, I would be building relationships with people who run assisted living centers because they've got people moving into their facilities every week who have a home to sell. I'm just throwing that out as a wild goose example. Okay. So sources of business. Then, and you should probably have really no more than 4 or 5. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't start writing 10, 12 sources of business because you cannot implement strategically within that many sources. You may get business from 10 or 12 sources, but you're going to put your energy into 4 or 5 and then just let the others fall on your head like pennies from heaven. Okay. Four or five. Within those sources of business, you need to write a step-by-step plan. What do I need to do to get the required number of transactions out of this source? So let's say your benchmark is 20 transactions. You've got 4 sources. So let's just make the math easy. You need 5 from each of those sources. So let's just say open house is one of your sources. You need 5 transactions out of open houses this year. Now, what do you need to do to get 5 closings from open houses? Just start writing it down. Well, first of all, you need to hold a certain number of open houses. And if you're not sure how many you need to host in order to get a closing, then I would load up early in the year with tons of open houses. It's better to overshoot your mark than to undershoot it. And if you can get a lot of activity in early in the year, you're going to know what your metrics are. You might close 5 in the first quarter, by loading up on a 7-day open house strategy, doing an open house every day of the week for 7 days, or maybe doing 4 every weekend, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. And you can do that. You can do 6 on a weekend. If you just do them at 1 hour, we'll do 1 hour open houses and put them in fairly close proximity to each other, schedule them at 1 hour each with a 30-minute interval. You've committed 4.5 hours out of your day to doing that. It can be done. And you wouldn't do that if this is not a financial requirement. If it was just an ethereal goal that really didn't mean much to you, then you would not put forth that effort. But if your financial requirement is something you're committed to, then why not? Why not? And if you can hit your financial requirement in the first 6 months instead of 12 months, all the better. Okay. Then you can take that 6-month cruise you've been thinking about. Okay. So load up early in the year with more activity than you think you're going to need. But write down what's going to be required within each of these sources. And that's what we call your strategy. So open house, I've got to host a certain number of them. Oh, I might want to order new yard signs using this new strategy that we've been talking about. Maybe I need to order a couple dozen open house directional signs. Maybe I need to get a strategy for in-house marketing within the open house. I need a notebook there with the seller's disclosure, with a copy of the survey, a letter from the seller about what they love about the home and the neighborhood. Perhaps I need to get my candy jar, get all the tools. And I carry a big a plastic bin just for open houses. And it's my open house kit. Everything I need for an open house is in there. I just grab that bin, throw it in the back of the truck, and away we go. Okay. Gather your tools, whatever it is. If you're doing geo farming or sphere of influence marketing, you're going to have to put something in there about print marketing. Direct mail marketing. You're going to have to do postcards. And if you can't afford to do it every month, then at least do it every other month. Or if you can't afford that, do it once a quarter. But you're going to need some print direct mail marketing if you're geo farming or sphere marketing. It will throw gasoline on the fire of your marketing efforts, because I'm a big fan of free stuff. And if I was counseling you on doing your sphere marketing, then I would say absolutely send a weekly email, because that's free. You can use your eXp CRM to do that. I would also say set people up, your homeowners, for the monthly market valuation, to tell them every month what their home is worth. That's free. It's automated. I believe in this free automated stuff, but print marketing, postcards are powerful. The lady that I'm going to look at homes with tomorrow in the Woodlands Hills, it's a $17,000 commission. When I met her on the trail and we got around to real estate and I told her my name, you know what she said to me? I was going to call you anyway. I didn't know who you were. I'd never met you. I'd never seen you, but I have your postcard in my house. And when the time came, I was going to call you. Well, the time was now. It wasn't later, because I need to get in on this new home purchase. So the postcard is critical. It would have gotten me in the game, but walking the dog, should be part of your strategy if you're geofarming. And I'm really not kidding. Whatever you can do to get out in the community and form these relationships is important. Okay. That's all number one. Start a plan. Start with a plan. Do your metrics, get your financial requirement, get your transaction benchmark, identify your sources, write down your strategies within each of those sources. All that's number one. Any comments or it's 9:42, my goodness. Any comments about any of that? Okay, then let me
Solid gold. Keep it coming. But you're not
Okay.
going to get them all. You're not going to get all 5 done in our time this morning if you got to go take pictures. So
I did. I'm going to list them.
You may want to capture your thoughts and do part 2 next. Well, we got we're not meeting next Friday, right?
We'll do part 2 in 2 weeks, but let me list them now for you. Number 2, implement your plan consistently. Don't put together a plan that you cannot maintain the required level of activities. It's better to scale back and do it consistently than to try to load up and not be able to maintain consistency. Now, your plan may call for an intensive burst of activity, but it needs to be limited in scope so that you can maintain consistency. Number 3, grow your database. In all these activities, all your sources, all your strategies, you are coming into contact with more people. And consider the purpose of every one of these strategies is to introduce you to more people, people who've become fond of living in houses. So get their information, put it into your database, okay? And then number 4, market to your database. Start marketing to them. You're collecting these new leads from all these different sources. Make sure they're getting your free email every week. They're getting the market valuations. They're getting birthday greetings. Market to them. And then number 5, the last thing I want to share with you is position yourself as the expert. And that's why about a month ago, we did that whole session on become a published author of a real estate book. And I got to tell you, I am having so much fun with the book that we wrote. In fact, I'm hand delivering one today. I hand delivered 2 earlier this week to 2 brand new listing clients. And it is so fun to sit down at the kitchen table and say, and this is not the book, but to say, oh, by the way, here's the book on what it takes to sell your home. And yes, I wrote the book. And I would like to give you a copy. When you have some time, read through this. It will share with you my strategies for getting your home sold. I mean, it's powerful and it's fun. And they're like, whoa, you wrote that? And I tell them the story, how we did that. We outlined that in 1 hour. And then I wrote it in 5 hours the next morning. By 9 a.m. on Saturday, it was done. It's a story. It's fun to tell. It positions you as an expert. You need to set yourself apart from all the other agents in your marketplace. And that's a powerful way to do it. Clock says 9:44. I warned you I have to scoot right at 9:45. Matthew, I'm so glad you've joined us. I'm going to leave the feed on. In fact, let me make you the
Frank,
presenter.
while you're doing that, can I say something real quick?
Yes, please.
So I didn't get a chance to share earlier, but I spoke to someone from my church last night after we met on Zoom. And all of a sudden she's talking about, she really wants to move. And she's talking about a business. And I was able to tie all of that in and say, when's the earliest you want to start? She said at the end of this year when I get money. It was so easy that I was like, wow, I'm glad I asked, because sometimes we just get in conversation and we feel shy about it.
Yes.
But she was like, yeah, I want to buy a business. I want to buy a house. I was like, okay, I can help you with everything.
Love it, love it, love it. I'm going to stop the recording right now.